Hello, this is Team System Overload, and we chose to do the AEP challenge. So our thought process and our plan was one to confirm if solar panels could use indirect sunlight, which we did, as well as determine a method of measuring the power of our solar panel, and as well as finding on-hand materials to test the reflectivity of, and then we wanted to determine how to apply this material, whichever we found was the best in the real world. So as you can see, our open circuit voltage measured with full light versus no light, or our two caps, and then we had foil paper shirt and iPad. And the shirt was polyester mixed with cotton, and the iPad was just glass with a black background. So obviously, when it was just fully at the light, it had the highest open circuit, and then it went down as we progressed, with foil being the highest. And so since we couldn't test as many materials as we would like, we had a few problems with as much finding materials that would work very well. So foil was the best we could, but we would like to be able to test other materials as well.
So this is our application in the real world. We left our material just to be blank, just because we weren't able to test every material possible. But so the orange will represent the solar rays, and the blue are the solar panels. Currently, the blue solar panels are directed in a way so that they are receiving 100% or maximum sunlight. They're perpendicular to the solar rays, as you can see in the diagram. And we are thinking of incorporating our material by adding it to the bottom of the solar array behind the row in the front and attaching it to the solar panel in front of it on the top. So that way, solar arrays that would miss the solar panels that would go in between them would be able to catch this material in between and reflect onto the solar panel behind it. And then it can't be seen in this diagram, but as you rotate the solar panels, since they are attached, the material would shift along with the solar panels. And if this diagram were to be flipped, the material that is reflective will reflect the solar rays onto the panel that is in front during this diagram.
We have our prototype in digital form in SolidWorks. On the top right, we have the stand, which helps rotate the solar panels. On the bottom right, we have our little fixture, which holds 4 solar panels, which helps rotate. On the left, you see the whole assembly. There's a servo motor on the right, which is controlled by Arduino, with 2 photosensors on the side. It goes towards a critical point, the most direct sunlight from the sun, and transitions to that point. We have a pretty gross presentation of what it will look like. It rotates 180 degrees both ways.
So as Luke mentioned, the photoresistors on the end of the stand will shift the panels in the direction that has the higher light intensity. And the solar panels will know when to stop until once the light intensity in both resistors are equal or about equal. And in a real world application on a solar farm, the solar panels will be lined up in rows with the material connecting each row. In the real world, we would have more than just 4 solar panels, but obviously for presentation purposes, we kept it to just the 4 solar panels that we were given for the challenge. And the big takeaways for this is that it allows monofacial solar panels to take full advantage of indirect sunlight. We mainly focused on monofacial solar panels because we found that solar panels that are able to absorb light on both sides are just not cost effective and practical. Another big takeaway is that we have more power generation with this method per solar panel. And at the same time, that also makes it more cost efficient per solar panel, even once you take into account the cost for the material. And thank you. This was Team System Overload.